Hi everybody, how are you today? I'm sure most of you are happy that the work week is over and you get to enjoy your weekends. So, I was laying in the sun today, and I'm starting to do now. I get a lot of these talks in my head in the sun. I just, like I say, that time is an unplugging time. What I normally do is I put my headphones on, I take my iPad out there with me, and I listen to YouTube videos. And I just kind of space out and enjoy the sun, and I think a little bit, and let my head just go where it goes. And that's always a good time for me. That's just a really nice time. It's not even just about physically taking the sun. It's just something about that disconnecting and connecting during my sun time of the day that's really nice. And I just got to thinking, I don't know if this came, like if something in another video triggered this thought. I can't really remember. I don't think so, but I just got on a train of thought about what has this lifestyle brought me or given me, or how has it improved me, I feel, in addition to the physical, you know, not the obvious, not the physical. And there's probably a lot of different ways that it's changed me, but these were just like the three that I could most identify with. Clarity. You know, and part of that, like some of this is going to be a murky line between whether, you know, was it all the food or was it giving up all that booze you were putting in your body? And you know, realistically, it was probably a combination of both. But I don't think as much would have, I don't think what I got would have come as much. I'm not saying that right. What I got would have come as much. I don't think I would have got as much of what I'm talking about just by giving up the drinking if I'd have stayed, you know, eating a standard American diet, or even eating what I considered healthy back then. Now, yeah, I would have been better than I was when I was guzzling booze and really eating bad, but still, I don't think I knew what was to come when I kind of first went into this raw vegan rabbit hole. But yeah, one of the first things that really came to me though was just, you know, I just started getting a lot of clarity. My mind started opening up. I don't want to sound all, you know, out there or metaphysical or whatever, but it was just, you know, and I think that was largely physical as much as it was anything else. You know, it wasn't all just love and light, and I didn't turn into a being of light. A lot of it was just, it's simple. I don't know the science behind all that stuff, but I think all that, the specific science, but all that garbage food we're putting in our body is it keeps us foggy. It keeps us foggy, and that's probably why, you know, so many billions and trillions of dollars are spent on keeping you, you know. Well, we won't go into all my political conspiracy and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, I do believe with the food they kind of keep you foggy thinking, and that's why there's a whole big connection there. You know, keep pounding these messages about the McDonald's and the Coca-Cola and this and that, and keep you eating these foods so they can keep you foggy and they can keep feeding you mind garbage. Well, when I changed my lifestyle and I cleaned up, I started getting clarity. I started seeing things. I started, in my opinion anyway, seeing some things in the world as they really were for the first time. You know, I believe it's in Hinduism. Where the concept of Maya, where the veil is revealed, where we're basically looking at the world through a veil, and we're actually looking at an illusion. We're not actually seeing what's out there. It's almost like it's a trick. There's a trick lens out there to show us something other than reality. Well, I feel like, you know, when I started getting cleaner and I started eating this raw vegan lifestyle, that I started getting a little bit more of that vision of reality and seeing things how they really were. And that fog had, you know, just somehow been lifted. And I don't know necessarily, you know, like which comes first. If it's all about the food, I do know, for me, I know the food was the gateway. You know, I'm not going to sit and say food is everything, food is supreme, food is our supreme being or the end-all be-all, but yes, I think it was the thing that really precipitated me going down a radically different path in my life. And it didn't take me very long before my outlook on a lot of things changed. I won't say everything about me changed, because I like to think that I've had a fairly open mind. mostly open mind. I mean, like most people, I could be stubborn on certain things, and I would have my little compartmentalized things that, note, well, I'll accept a lot of different truths, but I'm not accepting truths in this area. So, yeah. So one thing, you know, just right from the beginning, just even within a couple of months of being, you know, having especially the animal-based products out of my life, getting rid of that was just a huge cleansing of my body and a huge cleansing of my consciousness. And yep, gave me lots and lots more clarity, which I do feel like, even I look back to when I was only had been vegan for a year, high raw vegan. I've been mostly high raw vegan the whole time. But yeah, even after a year, I still noticed that I'm getting, you know, I'm sure at some point that'll plateau out. But I still do notice each year, you know, when I was 1 year vegan, 2 years, almost 3 years now, that the clarity increases, and I've been getting more clarity as I go. Well, the second thing I got, or the second thing, I think I always had the second, but I just didn't realize that I had the second, and I didn't realize exactly what choice was. Through that clarity, I came to understand that I had a choice about a lot more things in my life. In other words, I wasn't a pinball. I wasn't just being randomly bounced around completely. That there were things in my life that I had before not necessarily even thought about that I had a choice to, or just didn't believe I had a choice to. Now I did. One of those, and I've talked about this a lot, is just choosing to be happy. Well, number one is I chose to do this lifestyle. I just choose, you know, I've dieted before, tried to get healthy before, but this was just the one time that I choose to do this. Boom, it was done. About that same time, I started deciding, you know, I started changing demeanor, my demeanor, the way I thought, the way I presented myself, my attitude to other people, and my attitude about life in general. And I did find out about choice. And I did find out you could flip that switch, and I flipped that switch just like that, and I was happy. And I've been happy ever since. I do realize every time I talk about happiness and being able to choose to be happy, somebody is going to be a lawyer. Somebody's going to tell me, yes, there's people out there that have terrible things happen to them. I haven't had those things happen to me, thank God. And yes, if I have to deal with something like that, I may not. But all I can do is, when I'm presented with difficult circumstances, even if I'm, you know, even if the worst imaginable thing happens tomorrow, I can only play the cards that are in front of me. And me like curling up into some ball and being all unhappy and, you know, depressed, I just don't choose to do that. And let me clarify that too. Some people, depression is a real thing. Some people don't have a choice. I mean, I'm not saying that, so that's another little disclaimer I'm making. I understand that not everybody, you know, depression is physical. I didn't understand that for the longest amount of time, or what actual clinical real depression is, but that's physical. But in everyday life, like the other day, I'm downtown and I see this beautiful little girl in a wheelchair. And I can tell from this wheelchair that this is one of these conditions. She's going to be in that wheelchair for life. She was still able to smile, and she was doing she was drawing, she was coloring, she was interacting with her mother. And I just, you know, I'm thinking, when I see things like that, you might have a reason. I don't talk about anybody else other than me, but I don't have an excuse to be angry with the world, unhappy, whatever. When I see somebody like that can be happy in their life, I got to be happy. And I choose to be happy, and I understand there's a choice to be happy. I really started solidifying that when I got locked up in Panama, and people thought I was nuts when I'm telling them, yes, I'm still happy, because I didn't have another choice. What was I going to do? I had to do that experience. I was going to do that experience no matter whether I liked it, didn't like it, was happy or not happy. They didn't give a good rat's ass about my happiness. That was about me. That was about how I chose to handle an experience. I was going to do that experience anyway. You know, I could have done, if that had happened 3 years before what it did, I'd have been freaking out. I'd have probably been hungover from the night before. I'd have been flipping out, and I'd have been depressed, and I'd have been doing this, and I'd have been doing that. Why? I just decided, you know, hey, and it wasn't a dangerous situation, but even if I'd have been locked up abroad in a dangerous situation, I could only play those cards that were dealt to me. So I chose to be happy. I choose to be happy most of the time. I choose not to wallow in misery, which I used to be able to do in my past. I choose to make my mood what I want it to be. I don't know, and that one's one you can't explain, I can't explain to others, but that's one of the gifts that I got from this raw vegan lifestyle, is understanding that I have choice and understanding how to use it. And I shape my choice. I don't know, you know, there are things that we can get into some deep stuff, free will versus determinism. I don't know if, you know, I believe in if there's destiny or whatever, but I believe we have to live like we have ultimate choice. Now, I might make my choices and something may happen tomorrow that makes it so difficult for me to be happy, but for right now, I'm happy. For right now, I'm healthy, and I choose these things. And I didn't really, like I say, at the age, I'm 51 now, at the age of 48, I didn't know I could make all these choices. I just thought all these things were things that happen to you randomly. I didn't know I could choose to have supreme health, that I could choose, if not, I'm not saying I've eliminated, like there's a 0% chance I could get cancer, heart disease, or something like that, but I think I've pretty much done and am doing as much as possible to choose to have a fit, healthy life. So, yeah, choice is a big one I got. And peace. I just, you know, I mellowed way out, you know, from what I used to be. And it's just like, I just live, and it's not even so much, I was never like an angry person, I didn't lash out at people a lot, but just within myself, I didn't know that peace. And you know, now most of the time, I'm just so relaxed on it. I just refuse to let anything bother me. I look at it like, hey, do what I can do about a situation, do what I can do about it. And when I can't do anything more, or if it doesn't work out after I've done everything I can do, I come to peace with that. Because peace is one of the things in my life I value above all, probably above almost all else. I can't live in a non-peaceful environment. I've done that before. I went through a period before I moved to the city. An extremely unhealthy few years where I was living in an environment that did not bring any peace to me. It was just the opposite. And it was one of the first few times. I've always kind of lived on my own, by myself, but my home has always been somewhere I could come home and find peace from the rest of the world. It was like sanctuary, and I lost that for a while. And but just in general, peace, a peaceful mind, peaceful everything about my life, just being at peace, just became so much easier. You know, got all the garbage, got all the acid out of my body, got so much of the toxicity out of my body that just messes with your mind, messes with your emotions, messes with your mood. It just makes you a different person. I just even notice now, you know, like how people react to me when I'm out in public. Like if I go to a store, if I go somewhere, you know, to buy my fruit or whatever. It's just so easy to be pleasant to people, and it's so easy to interact with people with a smile, with peace in your heart, with you know, with a smile all over your face, not just, you know, the physical smile of your mouth. So there's a lot of things this lifestyle gave me, and yes, it's not all about the food. You know, we talk about that all the time, but it somehow all started with the food, and it was just like, you know, stuff just needed to get cleaned out for me. I don't know. I try to think of, and I'm going to wrap this up. When I say it's not all about the food, I just try to imagine any other ways that a transformation similar to what I've had could have come over me that wasn't based on food, or wasn't based on getting my body cleaned out. Because, you know, your body, your mind, your spirit, your soul, whatever you want to call all these things, they're all interconnected. And, you know, this body is just our physical, but I don't think the soul and the mind work well in a dirty body, and and they're held back, and they just, you know, they're not allowed to flourish. And when we get the body clean, we understand more of these possibilities. Or anyhow, who knows? Maybe I'm just full of caca. Just a little sun thinking today. You know, the sun could be baking my brain, but no, seriously, it has brought me a lot of peace and tranquility in my life. And I hope it's done, you know, the same for you. I hope it's not just totally a physical journey. There's a lot more on this journey for me, for sure. Just for me, I'm talking about, than the physical. And things are even through almost 3 years into this now. And actually next month will be my 3-year anniversary. But still, I feel like things are going forward. I feel like something big soon. I feel like another quantum leap. Something's going to jump. But I'm just going to keep trusting the process. I'm going to keep enjoying life, and I'm going to keep. I'm going to stay on the ride. And life is like a roller coaster ride. Once they strap me in, I'm not getting off until they drag me off. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this video today. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. Hope you'll subscribe to the channel, and I hope you are having a wonderful weekend. Love you guys. Peace.